What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Coffee with Dudes. Matt, how are you doing today, brother?
Doing great, bro. Doing great. A little bit later in the day. No coffee for me. We got water. We're
Got to
doing
do the
good, man. How about
morning.
you?
I thought about a decaf, but I had enough coffee this morning, so I think we're
Yeah, me
gonna
too.
hydrate. We'll just hydrate. But we got a good one for you today. So uh, we've been talking a lot about over the last like 3, 4 podcasts, just about like controversial topics and trends in health and fitness, a lot of current events. And so kind of sparked us to start thinking about trends over time because really health and fitness industry has transformed, changed drastically over the course of the last, I mean, even 5 years, but you go back into the 1960s, 1980s, 2000s, and there's huge buckets of different things going on. And so we're just going to make our way through time from the 1960s till now and kind of just see what the changes have been and what was going on back then. And
Cool,
so
man.
first things first, 1960s. And so Matt and I weren't even a thought. For me, my parents weren't even born till the late 60s. So this is a
Yeah, mine were
interesting.
early 60s. So, yeah.
And so this is an interesting time, but this is what the big things were back in the 1960s when it came to fitness is walking, manual labor, yard work, household chores, recreational sports. Seems like physical education in schools was like a lot different than it is now. Uh, and then we got the main goal was just to stay active and functional at that point
Yeah.
in time. And they had a lot of home cooked meals. I feel like in that period of time, when you think about it, there probably wasn't as many restaurants and stuff,
Yeah.
and definitely not
Yeah.
fast food, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, or yeah, there's less to choose from, even though despite being a handful of fast food options, right? So, and then like what you said, like with the manual labor, all that kind of stuff, walking, just physical activity and movement itself, I think was definitely more popular than it is today because we have so many more distractions today. Before it was just like you could unintentionally kind of somewhat like have your energy expenditure up and stay active and be in decent shape just by living during that time because I think you had a lot less distractions, a lot less options to choose from when it came to food, and so your your windows were a lot more narrow for things like compared to today. Now you think about it, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, no, it is insane. And I mean, you think about just like there just wasn't the things that they have now that they put in food. Like it
Hmm.
wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't even a thought.
Yeah.
It's funny because one of the blurbs that it has here is it's like ironically they knew far less about nutrition science, but dietary habits were healthier simply
Yeah.
because convenience food were just not there. Like you're not really snacking. It's like people would just eat like what they had, which
Yeah.
is it's just like probably go to the grocery store less. Like now we can go and get all of these things, and there's just going through drive-throughs now. It's just so easy and at our fingertips. And it's funny because down here, like when it says like some of the popular workouts and stuff, it was just push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, jump rope, running, biking, team sports, calisthenics. Like people were just doing just really body weight stuff a
Yeah.
lot, probably not lifting.
Yeah. And again, like think about those eight, 7, 8, 10 different movements you just mentioned, and those are people's primary movements. It's like they didn't have like super fancy cable machines and all these nice pieces of equipment and like, all these multifunctional things that we can do now. It's just like I think when you have less options to pick and choose from, you kind of just do what you have and you make do with your resources. And in this case, both from a nutrition standpoint, the options were a lot less. The ingredients that went into the foods were a lot less than what they are today. The options that people can choose from a physical activity standpoint or just staying in shape, we have so many different exercises now that we can do. Like think about just like a general exercise library for a fitness program. I'm thinking about mine. I've shot hundreds, if not thousands, of videos for just simply exercise demos. Like people stuck to the basics and the fundamentals, and it's something to be said about that. Both from like a nutrition standpoint and and an activity standpoint too. So no wonder, like, I'm sure if we looked at this up, like as far as percentages and stuff of like people who are overweight and considered obese nowadays versus back then, I'm sure that the percentages are crazy different. I don't know what they are at the top of my head, but I would imagine they're probably pretty different. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think that they have to be drastic. Let's say that, I mean, what are the obesity rates now? Like 60% or something like that in the
Yeah.
US?
At
Like they're
least I would
probably,
say.
there had to have been like 5% back in the 60s.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, it
Just out of
really,
sheer lack of options, right? Like just out of like you don't even have some of these food choices now that we have now. Same thing with like the amount of distractions and like think about how many times like people just get paralyzed by the fatigue of how many options there are. It's just like, oh well, I can sit here and be lazy and scroll my phone, I can watch TV, I can, whatever. Like versus going outside, it's like, oh man, maybe they had one TV in a household, if that, like if they even had one that worked and had antennas and cables or whatever, like I mean, I even think back to like we'll probably get to this time period too, but like when we grew up, it was just like even then we had a lot less resources. So it was like, dude, go outside, play, ride bikes with your friends. Like even then we were a lot more active.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this is, and I Googled it just to be curious, like what processed foods were available in the 1960s. And what came up was SpaghettiOs, those TV dinners
Oh
that
yeah.
people would eat,
Yeah.
right? Canned
Yeah.
soup, spam, and Vienna sausages. They had like Pringles, Pop Tarts, Jello.
Yeah.
Like so even there wasn't like tons of options, and some of
Yeah.
those things like, aren't what we would probably even consider like super crazy bad, which is funny.
Yeah. 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 I just think the options, I'd be interesting to see like when does that really start to change, like what time period, what year. I have a good idea, but I'm just curious to see what the data says.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's move on to the 1980s. So 20 years later, now our fitness trends are more aerobics, bodybuilding, jogging. Those workout videos started to become super popular.
Yeah.
And the main goal was burn calories and look fit. And
Yeah.
that was the low fat fit, like diet. So like that, like fat is bad. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's telling me is that's kind of what was going on in the 1980s. And so it was more trendy is what it's saying. 1980s, like exercising was like a trend. It's like
Okay.
put your workout video in, do that. I mean, obviously at that point in time, there's going to be a lot more processed foods. I don't know when McDonald's came about, but it had to have been in that time period, right?
Gotta be getting close, right?
Like
Yeah.
it's
But I
and so
think like also too, if that was like the no like anti-fat stage too, I wonder how many people like it just makes me think from uh, how many people were under eating, right? Because we know how much fat content is in there and how dense fat is from a caloric standpoint, just calories per gram. And then like I'm also thinking, well, if people were anti-fat during this phase too, how messed up and imbalanced were like people's hormones from doing that and just like restricting themselves from having, we know now like high quality fats, but to completely like eliminate a macronutrient and just be like, yeah, anti-fat, fat is bad. Uh, Man, like I'm thinking about like how many people got messed up doing that. There's
oh,
probably it's
for
probably
sure.
a lot.
I did that for a while. I mean, I was
Yeah.
that just trying to anything that had fat, it was not good. I would, and you start to wear yourself down
Hmm.
over the course of time. Not
Hmm.
good, not good. But it's yeah, that 1980s. And here, fun fact is McDonald's was actually founded in 1940.
So it's
So
been around. Okay.
yeah. But I'm
Okay.
sure it was better quality back in these period of
Oh, I'm
time.
sure. I'm
I remember
sure.
my mom used to do those workout videos. We had
Hey,
like I don't know what they were. There was this one that I remember. Um,
my mom had the Billy Blanks, the Tybo, and she had the Cindy Crawford VHSs. I remember those for sure.
oh, Cindy Crawford. Oh, Tybo. Remember
Tybo,
Tybo? Oh
yeah.
yeah, I think that's what my mom had. It was like
Billy
those.
Blanks, Tybo,
Yeah,
yeah.
Were
Yeah,
they
and
the?
he had the fist wraps.
Oh, there you go. Ty Bo with Billy Blanks. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Richard Simmons.
Oh
That's
yeah, of course.
that's
He's
in
like
the
super
90s.
popular. But I don't remember my mom doing those. The two that I remember are Tybo and Cindy Crawford.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are the two top hits here. Paula
Yeah.
Abdul's "Get Up and Dance."
Oh yeah, she had one
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
that's funny.
That's
Well,
funny.
1980s. It's kind of a little bit of a shorter blurb for the 1980s. It's more of the cardio heavy era, and
But
then we
that's where
move into
bodybuilding was, you said too, right? Like that's where that started to pick up, like in the 80s there.
it started. Yeah, it started to
Okay,
pick
it
up. I mean, that's
started. So
probably
this
the
yeah.
Arnold's and yeah, like those guys, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so that's it, that era. And then the 2000s, we move into like the heavy bodybuilding era. So
Okay.
this was, but also like that's like throughout. I think that was more like the 90, like into the 90s. Is when
Yeah.
it like I'm sure the 80s was like the ramp up, and then it really like kept going into the 90s, and then 2000 says like P90X. You remember P90X?
Yep, for
That
sure.
was a huge thing
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the 2000s.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever do that?
No, I never did it, but I mean, it was everywhere. I think like at that time we were playing sports, so I didn't really do the P90X. Like if we had anything organized, it was through school if I was doing it. Um, and then outside of school, I was like, I don't know, I wasn't even really interested in working out, I don't think. I was riding bikes, skateboarding, doing that stuff. But I do remember P90X for sure. It was so fun. And they had so many different versions of it too, right? I feel like they just kept coming out with like newer, more updated versions, like adding content to it and like expanding on it. It's just like a whole brand. I bet you they crushed. I'd be curious to know like what their numbers were over their time period. Do they still make P90X stuff? I don't know.
I don't. I haven't heard of it since. I mean, for like 10, 15 years. I feel like I haven't heard
Yeah,
of
yeah.
PDX, but
I
I
remember
would.
the infomercials used to look so sick. Like they looked like badass. And then you like thought to yourself, you're like, I don't even know if I could do most of this stuff. Like you saw him doing it and you're just like, I don't know. Some of it looked like kind of out of reach where it was like, did you ever do it? You did it?
No, no, I never did it. I thought about it at certain
Yeah.
points in time, but it's almost like what's that thing where you work out 2 days, two times a day, and read for 15 minutes and do
75
like
hard.
75. That's kind of what it reminds me
Yeah.
of in
Yeah.
some capacity, to
Hmm.
where I remember that it was P90X was like super intense, like
Yeah.
for 90 days straight. And I don't think, if I'm right, that P90X was like every day was super intense. I feel like there were days that were like a little bit less than others, but I just remember it being like very hard for people to complete.
That's what I'm saying. Like I remember seeing it and it being super hard, like the amount of pull-ups you had to do and like it just like some of the stuff just looked ridiculous. And I was like, how does anybody stick through this? But again, I never even tried. That was just me looking from the outside. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And so just to kind of give you a little bit more, so from this era of the 2000s, it was P90X, CrossFit training, a lot more boot camps, spin classes, six pack abs was a huge trend.
Yeah.
But also you had like the bodybuilding, heavy lifting, and personal training started to become a lot more
Huh.
popular in the
Yeah.
2000s. And then the fitness magazines were like all promoting like fat burning, visible abs, beach bodies, all of that stuff was like the huge rave. And the nutrition was low carb, high protein was
Yeah.
kind
There you go.
of thoughts on that.
Yeah.
So it shifted away from low fat to low carb over the
Yeah.
course of that 20-year period, which
Which I did
can.
too. I did that too.
Yeah, yeah. I tried it. I've never really been success. Like I was never able to be really successful with that. I feel
Yeah.
like my body just like needed car. It was like I
It
was
was
so active.
brutal, man. Yeah. Sucked. I just always remember like trying to willpower myself through it. And I'm like, okay, if people who do that, like obviously there's people out there that do it and they're successful. They must just have like a different mindset to be able to do it. And I got to just, grit through this and make it happen. And I remember doing that and getting to one point where I was just like, dude, I'm exhausted during the day. And I look back now in hindsight, it's easy just to see how stupid it was. But when you're trying to like achieve something from doing it and you want to get that outcome, that's really all you're thinking about. So you're just so focused on it. You're not really listening to how your body is. This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm sticking to it. You kind of just like grit it out. And yeah, man, I just remember being so tired, just tanked, trying to work out with no carbs. Like it's
Yeah.
brutal, dude. You know?
Oh, dude. And it's crazy. It's like I tried that too, where it's like, oh, if I can, like limit my carbs, right? It's like if I can limit my carbs, then that's the ticket. That's
Hmm.
that's the
Hmm.
key. And you just find, especially with us, like working out and being active and doing all this stuff, it's like it just wears you down. And then like I would find that when I ate more carbs, I would feel so much better, and I would actually like
Oh,
see better
dude.
results on my body
Yeah.
because I was finally like actually fueling the exercise and the activity
Yeah.
that I needed.
Isn't that such a big difference when you actually fuel for your workouts and you feel like, dude, the weights almost feel light sometimes. You just feel super pumped and you're just like, dude, I feel like I recover between each set and you're just like, I could do that weight again. Let's put on more. And like your training sessions become different and the way you attack them, the intensity, the strength, the amount of weight that you can lift, everything's just so much better. So now you're pushing your body to just different levels than when you go in there and you're just dragging and you're like exhausted and you're like, dude, I haven't even done anything yet today. I can't like I'm supposed to work out right now. Like, that's a bad spot to be in. And unfortunately, I think there's a handful of people that like you talk to and they still think that's the approach. Like, oh, carbs are bad.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to cut out carbs and cut out sugar and cut out fat and like just eat protein. It's like, well, you got one of them right, but like, the other ones aren't completely like this shut off switch where all of a sudden you're just like, hey, anti fat, anti carb. But you and I both went through it, right? Like we figured out the hard way, but
This
yeah,
goes to show just like how much information's always been out there, like we talk about, and over the course of that period of time, so the 2000s, like eventually that low carb, turns into keto, right?
yeah,
No or extremely low
yeah,
carb,
like 20
and
grams or less of carbs in a day, like that's insane.
that was in the probably like the 2010s.
Yeah,
Let's probably
yeah.
became a big.
Kind of like simultaneously with CrossFit, like right around that time of like paleo, keto, CrossFit. That was a battle too, man. Like doing keto while doing CrossFit. Like I remember doing that. Like that was insane. Like going back, like, yeah, let's just strip away your main fuel source for your energy sources and body's demanding for this activity that you're doing, and we're just gonna not have it. Like, looking back is so dumb, but that was it. That was the trend. That was the hey, this is what's popular now.
No, that's yeah, there's been a lot of stuff. And then we get to the current day where, there's more research than ever before. And, you have like a heavy thought of strength training is huge, like for longevity, not even just aesthetics for a lot of people, a lot more women, because, we didn't really talk about this, but over the course of, the 60s, 80s into the early 2000s, even today with some people, like women like were scared to lift weights, right? It
Yeah.
was like, oh, this is
Hmm.
going to be bulky. I don't want to be bulky. Like at least now the science is out there. That's not going to be the case, right? It's like a lot of the reason why men get bulky is because of testosterone and hormones and stuff like that, and women can if they were to do certain things and have an extremely heavy intensity, but it takes so much more to get to that point. A lot of the women that you see out there that are bulky are taking some stuff to
Yeah.
do that. Right?
It's a lot harder to get that kind of look than one might think. We'll just say that.
Yeah. And then just to kind of go through a little bit more now, like there's a lot more focus on walking and zone two cardio. Like the 10,000 steps is a huge thing. Uh, that, walking pads, for work, standing desks, walking for mental health, walking after meals kind of goes side of like all the research that's going on. And then some other stuff like high rocks we talked about that on a relatively recent pod.
Hmm.
Um, that's becoming bigger than ever. Um, Wearables, being able to track your fitness, being able to track your steps, your sleep, improve that way. And then protein, right? Like this is good. Like it really is. We talked about it through the years. The high protein was big, but yeah, now it's even bigger. Like there's more protein things out there than you could ever think. Like protein
Yeah.
Pop tarts, protein cereals, protein, pancakes. Like there's everything else. And then wrapping it up a little bit, GLP-1 medications are one of the big trends out there that can help people, but as we've talked about as well, as something there's a slippery slope there, and you become reliant on it, and then it's then to be tough. And if you don't develop the habits needed to keep the weight off, then you're just going to go right back to where you were. And that's kind of the big different differences. What did you notice just kind of talking through these different eras?
I think it's just the amount of options that we have access to nowadays. And of course, having gone through those different, stages and years, I think we obviously get more educated up until today. Like present day is the most we're going to be educated on everything. And so having that at your fingertips with the amount of resources and options that we have nowadays is crazy, so much to the point where it can feel overwhelming, I think, for like the general public or society. And because not only do we have access to as many resources as we want to better ourselves and make ourselves healthier, there's also just as many, if not more, options to move us in the opposite direction too. So I think it's this battle of back and forth and back and forth. And like you think about it now today with social media, and you know I put myself in the shoes of somebody who is seeking to better themselves and try to become better and create better habits. And like you can get so lost just getting swallowed in the algorithms of somebody says to do this, but then they say don't do that, and then like you're so confused you don't know what to do. And so I think we're blessed because we like took it as our path and profession, and we studied it and loved it and fell in love with it, and learned as much as we possibly could, but also took ourselves through the experience side of it too. And so I think those two things go hand in hand. There's something to be said about like we can educate ourselves as much as we possibly want, but you and I both kind of fell on our face with a lot of the stuff too. And we're like, oh, okay, that didn't work. I thought it would. And so I think that helps us big time, and in turn help other people, which is why hopefully, people listening to this can kind of learn from our mistakes and be like, oh yeah, we don't have to do things the hard way. There is a way and a path specifically that you can kind of filter out most of the noise and go, okay, this is the handful of stuff that works. Now within that realm, I can pick and choose what works best for me. Whereas like back in the day, they kind of only had that as an option. Now it's like, how well can you like block out all the other stuff and just focus on like a very more narrow path to where it's focused on the things that actually move the needle versus like get rid of all the distraction and noise stuff. I think that's super hard to do now today, and is probably part of the reason of why people are just so obese, overweight, out of shape today, is because uh, and we're getting lazier too, right? Things are becoming easier for us. Technology is getting super good, and so we shine away from doing things that are challenging or difficult or hard. And so by society, we're naturally just lazy. And so, whereas before we didn't have those resources back in the day, and so you had to do things a certain way. And whether it was physical labor, like whatever, most stuff today we can automate and use AI, and we're lazy, man. We're spoiled. So yeah, I
Work
think a
from
lot goes
home.
into it. What do
Yeah,
you
it's
think?
like I was gonna say, I was like, yeah, work from home. Like everybody works
Yeah,
from home. They,
yeah,
like
yeah,
back in the day, it was just you're out physical. Like I feel like most jobs are probably physical. You're working in a manufacturing facility, or
yeah.
you're on
Hmm.
your feet all day, or whatever it is. They didn't have delivery. I'm sure at a certain point they did, but like they're not delivering stuff. You're not able to. You don't have phones. You're not able to
Yeah,
like just put like, oh, I want Uber Eats to bring me a burger, and then they're
Yeah,
like bringing you a
yeah,
burger, and it's like you can literally get anything delivered to yourself these days, and it makes it tough. Like it's like you're sitting around, you're like, I don't feel like moving, I'll get.
yeah.
I've been there. I'm sure you've been there, right? It's
Oh
like
yeah,
something
for
get it
sure.
order, It's like let's bring
Dude,
it
I
here.
did it this
You
week.
know?
I didn't order out, but Katie's gone. She's still in LA for the week, and we usually like ping pong dinner ideas off each other, and she'll make it or I'll make it, or there's at least that aspect of it. Now when she's not here and I'm just, having dinner for myself, like, dude, I went and got this week, I went and got like 5 to 7, maybe frozen dinners of this guy that I follow on social media. I used to make a lot of his recipes, and now he has meals in Target. So they're high protein meals, but they're frozen meals. And I just been heating those up because I'm like, man, I'm lazy, but I still want to eat something decent with, good macros on it, higher protein. And so I fell into that this week, right? I got super lazy and was like, okay, are these the best thing? Probably not. Are they decent numbers wise? Okay, they can get me by for this week. But usually when her and I go grocery shopping, we're getting the fruits, the vegetables, the high quality protein sources. Like we're getting the things, we're making dinner. This week, that went out the window. I was just like, what's
It's,
easiest? What's quickest? You know?
it's nice.
But yeah, yeah.
It's good. It's good to like have those options, and that is one thing is like, the convenience. You can find stuff. You generally have to pay a little bit more for it. That is going to be pretty good. Relatively decent for you. Make it
Yeah.
convenient. Hit your protein goals, whatever it is. So that's a definite plus. But yeah, like they're like you couldn't have said it better. In the past, there just was less options. There wasn't social media. There wasn't all of these voices telling you what to do. It was
Hmm.
literally, it's like, this is what we have. This is what we're going to eat. We got to walk to school. Like
Yeah.
it's like we got to,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
we got to do all this stuff. It's just like you had to be active to get places and
Yeah.
to do things and to work. And so it's like that's kind of gone out the window. But it makes you think. Just kind of bringing it back to the basics of what they had to do back in the 60s. When we kind of looked at
Hmm.
that, it was interesting to see. It's like you can get a great workout in with your body weight, like in something that's going to be great. Just go walk, work out, eat minimally processed foods as much as you can, and you'll be in good stuff shape.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely. Well,
yes,
hopefully this was helpful for you guys. We went a little long on this one, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And I think it's great the perspective of looking all the way back from the '60s up to present day, how fitness has changed, how being healthy has changed, uh, good, bad, ugly, and different. And so hopefully you can look back on your own life and see and pull some perspective based on what we talked today, and take that with you on and ways to be better going forward in the future. And then if all we ask for you guys is to share with a friend or family member, somebody like, and love, who you feel like could maybe get some golden nuggets from what we talked about today. And we are excited to continue to keep going over these topics. We're posting every week, so stay tuned, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. And if you guys have questions for us, we'd love to hear from you guys. Go ahead and send them in, and we will catch you guys on the next episode.
peace.